Hey guys, Desolator Magic back with another great video, and this time we're doing it again. That's right, it's the 4th edition of the top 10 people you don't want to see at Friday Night Magic. Now this list is a little bit different than past ones in that I really didn't put them in any particular order, mostly because I was lazy, but also because none of them really stood out. None of them were like, yeah, that's the one, or this one is so much worse than the other one. So it's just really 10, not really the top 10, just 10, I guess. Starting out with number 10, which probably should have been higher on the list, NetDeckers. I'm pretty sure they made it to actually the second and the first list, come to think of it. But I had to include them on this one because if you haven't been watching my channel at all, I hate them. They constantly cause my local gaming store to be out of the cards I want. It's like I can't even get any cards there anymore. It's terrible. And that actually hurts the store because it makes them look bad. So if all they do is copy the decks from the last tournament, let's say they all want Eldrazi, Mimic, and Endless One. When I come in and want Endless One for my Hardened Scales deck, which isn't even technically really a net deck, then I can't get it. I have to get it elsewhere. I have to get it online, which then I might as well just get the whole deck online, and why even drive to my LGS? So that is a pretty bad problem. Number 9 is definitely the people who go out to smoke between every single round and never show back up on time to the round. They don't care if their round went 50 minutes plus all 5 turns and then ended in a tie, and they're literally posting the pairings the second they get up from their chair. They're still outside smoking. I mean, people, come on, just quit smoking. Either that or just don't smoke for an hour. You can't wait an hour? I mean, come on, jeez. Number 8 is also NetDeckers. I love them so much I put them on the list twice. This one's for a different reason, though. They tend to think that they're entitled to win, and you've heard me mention this before, but basically they come in thinking, I'm running a better deck than anybody else, I should win. If I don't win, then it was just bad luck or a bad beat or a 1 in a million shot, oh my gosh. And that really takes away from new players, because new players, when they beat them, they're saying, oh, it was a fluke, oh, I didn't draw any land, blah, 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 bad luck, blah, blah, blah. So it's like kind of making excuses and kind of lessening their win, when they should be very excited that they beat, quote, a top player, although I wouldn't put it that way, because honestly, 99% of the time when the person lost, it's not bad luck, it's bad playing. They played cards at the wrong time, or way, way, way more often, they should have mulliganed and didn't. That's the number one mistake that people make. So you could be running the best deck in the world, and if you run it like an idiot, you're going to lose anyway, but these people just never see it that way. Number 7 are people who are new to the game, and they're so fed up with how unbelievably overpowered the other people's decks are, and they're so fed up with losing, and they really only think about Magic when they're at FNM. They don't really put any effort into their deck or practicing playing or, doing fake mulligan or not situations or any of that. They don't do any of that during the week. They show up to FNM and then do all the work on their deck. So what they do is they just ignore the actual rules and start modifying their deck in between matches. And it's always the new players. Always, always, always. So I give them all the leeway in the world, and honestly, with the situation right now, I wouldn't encourage them to do it, but I'm certainly not going to report them from doing it either. I mean, if they say, oh, I made a mistake putting these cards in, I got to take these 3 cards out, I found a better version of it, why not? I mean, whatever. If they start winning, yeah, it's completely unfair and they should be disqualified, but with the state of net decking and how big of dicks people are at my LGS when they're, a longtime player and they're a net decker, see, this one's about net decking too. They're all net decking. The whole list is net decking. Every problem in all of MTG is net decking. And their crappy R&D department too, by the way. So please, I don't care if you're new to the game, old to the game, or whatever it is, cheating to alter your deck between games, you really should just get your deck perfect and mathematically right before showing up to FNM. Just show up 30 minutes early, run it by somebody. I mean, I could go through anybody's deck and say, no, swap out this, 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 and this, and make it twice as powerful in most cases. Number 6 is still NetDeckers, but obviously for another reason, because it's just endless. I might not even stop at 0 at this one. This time they're on the list because they tend to spread the ridiculous rumor that Standard is too expensive. Now, right now, yes, it's really expensive. If you want a chance of winning, it's pretty expensive. But on April 8th, that is all over. There's no more fetch lands. All the lands are practically free. I mean, you're going to lose the life lands even, so it's just going to be like you're going to be running uncommon duels or something. I mean, oh, it's going to be tragic. But, cheap lands equals a cheap deck, so that's cool. But yeah, normally you could show up with a $15 deck and stand one hell of a chance. So I'm looking forward to that returning on April 8th. But, you know, net deckers tend to tell people, yeah, I got to spend $200 on a deck. Oh, now there's another tournament, so I got to spend another $300 on a deck. And I just spent $100 on this deck, and now it's already, quote, bad. Well, the deck didn't get worse. It's just somebody came up with a better deck because, oh, I don't know, instead of net decking, they came up with a new deck idea and brought it to a tournament and then beat the living crap out of the other net deckers. That's why I hate the ridiculous myth that net decks and standard are the best decks out there. They just happen to win the tournament. They're good decks, but they're not certifiably the best decks. That's why the decks change at the next tournament. People came up with new ideas, or people who just honestly mulligan too much and their deck should have won the tournament actually win the tournament. So don't be afraid to go out there and build a deck, and if you build it before it's a net deck, it's probably going to not cost much. So the ridiculous myth that it costs too much is why I made net deckers number 6. Number 5 is me, but specifically people who never stop running control decks. We're talking board wipes, counters, just blue, 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 black, black, black. They just love them some control decks. That is absolutely me. I mean, I barely even run green or red decks ever. It's just all control, because there's 2 types of decks, in my opinion. There's obviously like 10 types of decks. Like you could throw a mill in there, but whatever. There's Drag Race decks, which is I'm doing what I'm doing, you're doing what you're doing, and hopefully I can run you over first. You know, it's just I'm not going to interfere with what your deck is doing. I just think my deck is faster, so thus Drag Race. Then there's Monkey Wrench decks, aka control decks. I'm going to try to stop what you're doing while also doing what I'm doing, and hopefully it'll be enough that I can kill you first. And I prefer that, because Drag Race decks are just stupid, because if you go up against a control deck, you're going to get beat. And if you go up against, honestly, a net deck, you're probably going to lose too, because, you know, I don't build them. I build good speed decks, but the fastest of the fast decks do tend to, well, eventually become net decks, unfortunately. But yes, there are people like me that are just completely addicted to control decks and they refuse to play anything different, which, like I said, I actually have built Drag Race decks. I have played with them, so it's not like every week I show up with a board wipe deck, but more often than not, I do. And naturally, people find it mighty, mighty annoying, but deal with it. Number 4 on the list is, of course, also net deckers. They made the list this time because they always try to trade for really expensive popular cards with crappy cards. So they always look at my binder and say, oh, I want this. I want the Grandfire. I want, you know, I don't even remember what's popular right now. I couldn't tell you. I've been playing Modern. I don't give a crap about Standard right now. But whatever they want, they're going to trade you 30 cards worth 50 cents for it, because the rest of the expensive cards went into their deck and they don't have spares because they spent too much money on Standard because it's so expensive. Honestly, non-net deckers who do this are annoying. So number 4 is sharing with net deckers, because they all do this, and non-net deckers who constantly try to trade just mountains of crap rares for one good rare. Number 3, we've got people under the age of 16 who don't have a license, or really people of any age who don't have a license. It's just typically them because they can't legally have a license, and they constantly try to bum rides off of people. Not only is that horribly unsafe at a base level, but what exactly was the plan? I mean, if their parents dropped them off, were they just like, oh, have fun at FNM, hun, hitchhike home, you know? What was the plan? Were they, like, did they call every single week and cancel picking them up because of an emergency? Because I called BS on that one. A lot of the times, I guess that they rode their bikes and it's like the middle of winter and it's pretty cold where I'm at. So, you know, they'll just not want to ride home. And so they'll just find somebody, like some creepy guy with a creepy panel van that can fit a bike in the back and just try to get a ride home. And there's this one kid who asked me every single week, and he lives in like the exact opposite direction as me. And I got like work to do. Like usually I'm at FNM and that's a big block of time. And I've got like a lot of other crap going on at my work or with making these awesome YouTube videos. So, yeah, I don't think he should keep asking because it's not been pretty successful lately. I'm telling you, the next time somebody asks me, I'm going to be like, how did you get here and what was the plan to get home? Because I'm curious. I really am. Number 2 is, well, go ahead and guess. Really, take a moment, see if you could sense a pattern here, and see if you could guess what it is. It's net deckers again, this time for another reason, because they are the worst people on the planet. By the way, let me just pause right now, which I should have done this a long time ago in the video, and tell you that my definition of net decking is not copying a deck off the internet. I'll let you recover from that heart attack you just had. My definition of net decking is playing with a deck that's posted on the internet that just did well at a tournament. That's all I have a problem with. I have a much smaller problem with people who see a clever deck on the forums and then play with it. It's the people who get in the mindset that they absolutely have to win, they have to play the top deck, they don't care about the expense, they're going to complain about it anyway, and they have to show up with the tournament winning deck. Those people are net deckers. I don't consider anybody else to be net deckers, which is why I'm posting decks online and saying, here, build this. That said, they're at the number 2 slot because they constantly accuse people of damaging their cards. I don't care if it's in their trade binder or when I'm shuffling their deck because they keep cheating or attempting to cheat and I have to keep shuffling their deck, or no matter what. You could just be looking at the cards, they'll be like, oh, he's damaging them with those eyes, he's got them eye lasers, he's peering too deeply at the card, it might ruin the ink. So yeah, I mean, it kind of goes with the whole I spent too much on Modern's too expensive, all I do is complain about the money, and yet I net deck like a freaking idiot. You know, it's just, oh, I hate net deckers so much. Number 1, and I think we can all agree that this one actually does belong at number 1, even though I didn't really rank the other ones by importance. It's the people who shuffle their cards in their hand like they're coming down off crack and trying to like hide the symptoms of withdrawal. Or like every time they move the cards in their hand and go swish, 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 swish. It's even the noise that haunts my dreams. I hate it. Every time they do that, apparently they've got like their sleeves coated in nicotine or something, and then that helps them out for like 3 seconds, and then they do it again. I mean, instead of doing that, they should be sitting there silently contemplating what I'm doing, what might be in my deck, how many cards are in my hand, reassessing the permanents on the field, going through in their head all the different activated abilities that they might have forgotten about since I played like a land or a creature. No, they're too busy just shuffling their cards like a complete mental patient or like some kind of like gerbil or something. I mean, it's not normal. I kid you not. I showed up to Friday Night Magic with a black stall kill discard deck, just to get cards out of these people's hands so they could stop doing that. Now, if you show up like really freaked out on caffeine, you're probably the one doing this. So please, just take like a vitamin B supplement, which will do the same thing energy-wise and concentration-wise, but without the card shuffling and toe tapping and crazy general vibrating, and you'll be just fine. And as is tradition, we're going to number 0 on the list. What do you think number 0 is, if you had to guess? Now, if you got the last one wrong, you probably got it right this time. It's net deckers. Why this time? Well, I had a couple of them written down, a couple reasons that net deckers are ruining the game and they're horrible and I hate them and they cause decks to get banned and then everybody complains about it. Then you get to hear about that and they're awful people and they're cheaters, and I'm just going to go with because they're literally Hitler. How about that? That's just a blanket. They're Hitler. They're the ghost of Hitler in MTG player form. Well, that's been another fantastic top 10 list. Very scientific, very well written, very, very documentary-esque. I might actually turn this into the next independent film festival as like a silent film, but like in reverse, there's no pictures, it's just audio. I might win something. So pending my Sundance Film Festival win, you might want to hit that subscribe button because like I'll obviously make a video about it when I do it. Also, I'm working on just the right chemical compound to do something, and I'm just going to leave it there because you guys, if you've seen the other videos on my channel, you know I'm probably going to, do something really bad to some MTG cards, so you don't want to miss it, and I'll see you guys next video.